It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for some metal with V and metalhead Fred Bonanno. What up, dude?
What's happening, V? I hope everybody had a great weekend, and it is another Monday, which means nothing but metal.
Absolutely.
And tonight on Monday Metal, we have our usual video reaction, but we also have the lead singer of the featured band Midnight Vice, whose 7-song debut EP has been released on Reigning Phoenix Music Records. So let's find out a little bit more about Midnight Vice as we welcome to Monday Metal Tyler Gray.
Horns up, brother.
What's
Hi,
going on?
Tyler.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Welcome.
Good,
Appreciate
man.
you coming on. Coming
Happy
to
to
us
be here.
from hot and sticky Florida. I'm guessing. Is it hot and sticky down there?
Not hot yet. It's good. It's about to be here in the next couple months, but it's pretty nice out right now.
Well, that's good. That's good. Glad to hear it. So thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. As I mentioned, you got the album coming out, the debut EP.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that and everything else, we'll get the formalities out of the way. Why don't you fill us in a little bit about your journey into music and how Midnight Vice came about?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So I spent the majority of my life skateboarding, especially in my early teens, and I think that was a super important portal for me to learn about different styles of music and whatnot. Because skateboarding is such a diverse culture that you learn a lot of things from different people, and I kind of had already had this preset notion of a love for rock and roll just because of my dad. I had VH1 classics playing every Saturday. I was being driven to daycare in a second gen Z28, listening to AC/DC, Motley Crue, stuff like that. So that was kind of already there, and I think through skateboarding, I started at a relatively young age. I was about 12, 13, and that's kind of those are the years where you're kind of starting to discover your own sense of self and you're developing your own identity. And that was kind of when I got introduced to bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, all those cliche metal bands. And it was just something that I fell in love with, and I was so infatuated with it, just like anybody else. And I kind of just started digging deeper, finding more obscure stuff all the way up until my 20s, and all I was ever doing was skateboarding, so I didn't decide that I wanted to be in a band until I was 20. And I started off in a cover band, and I was doing that for a really long time. And I also had an original band that was like a hard rock type deal, because I'm a big glam guy. I love all those glam metal bands.
Yeah.
So that was how I started. Was in a hard rock Guns N' Roses type band, and through that band, I met some of the other guys that were in the band with me. Were big fans of bands like Skullfist, Enforcer, and we kind of had that mutual bond. So that band ended up kind of falling apart, and all of those guys that I had that mutual, bond with, they stuck around, and that was how we formed Midnight Vice, because we were like, we should do something like this. We should do something a little different and get a little heavier, a little more on the traditional side of things.
Yeah.
And that was the first rendition of Midnight Vice, and we were just jamming all the time, playing a bunch of covers. We had written Baptized by Fire, and we were kind of starting to get out and play some gigs. We were doing the open mic nights a lot, where you just go up and you play 3 songs and off. So once we started getting booked, unfortunately, it was when it all fell apart, and we lost our guitar player and our drummer. But Lakota was there with me the entire time, and that was when I ran into Sam. And Sam joined the band, and then we got Dennis in the band, and then that was kind of when we really hit the ground running and started writing a lot more, and we started taking things a little more seriously. And from there, we started getting booked, and then we wrote enough songs that we thought we'd just record an EP, and that's just how it all went down. And here we are now. We've released the EP, and it's been better than anything we could have ever imagined.
Yeah. So the EP originally came out just digital, and it's just now physically released, CD and vinyl.
Yeah.
So I love to ask this question.
That's a
What's
great
your
album.
reaction the first time you see that album and go, "Holy shit, this is my album. This is my band. This has got to be the coolest deal."
Dude, I mean, it was a whole moment for me. You know, I came home. It's funny because I didn't even know that like they were being shipped to me when they arrived. So I came home. I had worked all day. I went straight to band rehearsal afterwards, and then I drove all the way home. And there is this giant box just waiting for me, and I'm like, "What the hell is this? I didn't order anything." And then I saw that it was sent by the record label, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Cool.
So this was the record that I pulled out.
Awesome.
And it was just absolutely beautiful, especially just to see it, the purple.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And you know, I'm so stoked to be working with a label that just made such an amazing product too. And I got to throw it on the turntable and listen to it. And I swear to God, it sounds better on the turntable than it does on the streaming platforms. I'm not even making
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean,
Other people have bought it and have told me the same thing, and I thought maybe I was just a little biased because it's my own record. But I
No.
swear to God, the vinyl master is like immaculate. It sounds so good.
yeah,
But
vinyl's always warmer, man. And you know, people used to mix to vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what we did. We had our stuff mastered specifically for vinyl as
Yeah.
well. Alex Naslow did the mastering for us, and he mastered it for the vinyls and the digital.
Yeah.
And he does amazing work, dude. He's a great guy.
Because a lot of times what people were doing when people started reissuing vinyl, because vinyl is becoming so popular or has become so popular, they
Right.
weren't doing the vinyl, and people are like, why doesn't the sound? Yeah, because you didn't mix it.
Yeah, You're just if you're just throwing the digital format onto vinyl.
Yeah, but
I'm so glad vinyl made a comeback. There's nothing better than popping it on,
yep,
holding that album in front of you, flipping it over. It brings me back, especially to my youth when record stores were huge.
It's a totally different experience, man.
I think that just the ritual aspect of it is
right.
Super, like, there's a certain appeal to it that is, it almost makes you feel closer to the music, I think. Even just like the logistics of sound aside, just the ritual of, going through the insert, reading the lyric sheets, throwing it on the turntable, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a personal relationship with whatever record it is.
Yeah, and you're not looking at a device.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's all analog, you're reading.
I tell people all the time, man, if you're, they go, oh man, I'm having a rough one. I'm like, here's what you need to do. Go home, put your phone in the kitchen, put on a vinyl, sit down, relax and listen to the whole album A to Z.
Yeah, dude. When I have a day off, man, like that's my favorite thing to do in the morning is just wake up, throw some sweatpants on, and walk out to the turntable and just throw a record on, dude. It's so therapeutic, honestly.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that now,
Right. Yeah, they're like, oh, maybe those older people have a point.
Yeah, dude. It's funny because it's like this generation seems to it's almost like we're backtracking. You know? Like where did we go wrong?
Right. Yeah.
Like maybe we did too much,
Yeah, it's like, because music, now to some people is just a playlist. It's just a digital file. When
dude,
before you had to go down to the record store, you had to go through, you had to flip. Oh, this album covers kick at
and that is a whole nother thing in itself too.
Right.
Just
like we all would have grabbed this fucking thing right from Never
Oh,
Hearing
yeah.
You. We'd be like, okay, that's going in the.
I bought a ton of albums just by how the cover looks, and you flip it over and you see the band and you go, these guys look. That's how I found out Queensryche, the EP. Turn it around, I go, these guys look good. Popped it on. I did that with all the. Now, since we showed the album cover, it is such an awesome album cover. Is that your concept, or did you have an outside artist take care of that?
So Martyr of Decay. I don't even know his real name. That's the name that he has always gone by, even in terms of like paying him and stuff. He's just like, make it out to Martyr of Decay. He did the artwork for us. I think that we had an idea in mind, but we were really just trying to find somebody that could make us a piece of artwork that would accommodate the music. We wanted the artwork to look how the music sounds as any other person would. So we found him through Instagram. We were just we were looking at like who other bands were working with in terms of artists. And that kind of just triggered the algorithm on our Instagram. So we just started we were being fed artwork all the time. And he popped up on our Explore page, and he just kind of stuck out to me a lot. I really liked his artwork. So we got in contact with him. We purchased a pre-made piece of art from him, which was Baptized by Fire. That single artwork was a design that he had already made that we purchased off of him. And then we also hit him up for some commission work. And if I remember correctly, I believe I told him I wanted a skull being crushed in a vice, and I wanted swords and chains and shit. So we didn't really get the vice, but the artwork is so good that I was like, I'm good with that.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, because the witching hour starts at midnight. The crystal ball affiliation there, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Now I wear nothing but band T-shirts. Is that available on a T-shirt?
Dude, we had it. They're all sold out. But I'm about to put a massive merch order in, so I'll get in contact with you and I'll send you.
Yeah, I'll just come to your place in Sarasota or
St.
Pete when I'm down there in a few weeks. I'll be knocking at your door.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Well, you know what? I was in New Orleans last year, and somebody told me about this T-shirt place there. They got some really cool rock metal T-shirts there. So I walk in, and you remember Spencer Gifts in the malls?
Yes.
This was like Spencer Gifts on steroids. It was a boom, T-shirt after T-shirt after T-shirt. I must have bought, I don't know, 17, 18 T-shirts. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I go, "Look at this, a Triumph T-shirt. Oh my God, Megadeth T-shirt." And I must have bought 17 of them. I didn't even know what the bill came to. And I was kidding with the guy when I'm checking out going, "I'd like to come back." He goes, "They all do." Because there were so many killer T-shirts in there. So I definitely got to wear that sucker.
There you go. Yeah, I'll get you one.
Great cover art. Great cover art.
We worked with an artist who did the T-shirt designs for us. When we had done all of the merchandise, we had just pretty much taken the actual print of the artwork and just slapped it on a T-shirt. And we actually worked with a T-shirt designer this time around.
Yeah,
have these really cool like 80s style designs that we're going to be putting out soon. So I'm super excited to get that ball rolling.
That's kick-ass.
That is. So you had mentioned, and your press release also mentions it, that you're influenced by Maiden, Priest, Sabotage, Megadeth, and Motorhead, which it's very prominent in your music. But I know you have a little special extra love for Sabotage, whose roots are from Florida as well.
Yeah.
You guys covered White Witch from their classic album Hall of the Mountain King on the EP. So is that like an intimidating process for you, saying, "My God, we got to make sure we do this up right. This is Sabotage"?
I don't think that we were necessarily intimidated, but I do know that like we wanted to do it the right way. When we were in the process of recording the EP, we had said that we wanted to do a cover. And at the time, we were playing a bunch of covers because we couldn't fill our time slot, you know? So at this point now, like we have new songs that are written and stuff, and we can play a time slot where it's all original stuff. But at this, when we were first getting started, I mean, we probably had like 3 songs, 3 originals, and then we had to fill the rest of our time slot up with just covers. So we had so many that were floating around, and Sabotage was probably the band that we did the most covers of. I know we did White Witch, we did Hall of the Mountain King, and we did Strange Wings. So there's 3 songs right there off Hall of the Mountain King. And I think everybody's headspace was different at the time because we all just had different covers that we liked doing. So we weren't able to agree on a cover throughout the duration of recording the EP. So we recorded the EP and we couldn't agree on one. So we're just like, whatever, we're not doing a cover. If we can't agree on one, there's no point in all of us, sitting around bickering about it.
Right.
So we just did 6 originals, take it or leave it, whatever. we got it all recorded, and from there, that was when we got our deal with Fireflash, which is now Roar. But after that, a couple months went by, and we were presented the opportunity to record a single for free at our friend's studio, Chris, and Chris is the guy that recorded White Witch. And I think that we were a little more mellowed out, you know, and I think we were a little less self-critical, so we were willing to negotiate more with each other as far as a cover to do.
Yeah.
And I think that Sabotage just made the most sense because Sabotage is a Florida band. We're a Florida band, you know.
Right.
We're carrying the flag, I guess.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do Hall of the Mountain King because that's just, I'd rather just leave that alone. That's phenomenal.
What a great fun song to play, though.
Yeah.
That is an awesome fucking song. So there's no reason for me to try and replicate that. And Strange Wings, I didn't really want to have another ballad, you know. So White Witch was like the golden goose, you know. It just worked out perfectly, and it fits well with the rest of the overall theme of the EP. So we proceeded with White Witch, and I mean, we really did that one by the playbook, you know. We made sure that we were trying our best to get as close to as we could to the original and do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we were all very happy with the overall result.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, it's a killer song. It's a killer song. So, and one I'm gonna have to read my notes here because one distinct thing I took away from the album is the lyrics. And Vince is a writer. I'm a writer. I dabble in lyrics. Vince and I both have written, you know, some publications that have been published. But I love lyrics, and the lyrics from the album to me are intriguing and mysterious. And here's a perfect example from Spellcaster: a prophet of time. My blood is the wine, I tempt the divine. Unfortunate son, the spell has begun, your faith is undone. So young and unwise, bewitched by my eyes, you'll soon pay the price. You are now under my spell. I love that.
Thank
so
you, man.
Who's the main songwriter? Is that you?
I write all the lyrics.
You are, okay.
And I'm right there with you, man. I'm a very big lyrics guy, and that was something that kind of made me want to pursue a little bit more of a heavier sound, I think, because when you get into the glam stuff, a lot of it's pretty redundant. And I was writing songs like that at the time, and I didn't care for it. I'm a really big fan of like Chuck Schuldiner. I love his lyrics, you know. Same thing with Dave Mustaine. I think Dave Mustaine also writes very intricate lyrics, and I've always been a big fan of that. I love listening to songs that like you can just kind of ponder on and try and process, and there's different ways to interpret it, you know. I'm a big fan of that style, and so I try to really put a lot of effort into the lyrics and make sure that, you know, the song is colorful in a lyrical aspect.
Yeah, well, you accomplished it.
Thank you.
It's really awesome. So, so being a skateboarder, then when you're out skateboarding, I assume you still skateboard now, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Sam and I go skate every weekend.
Okay, so when you're out there, is that kind of you get some inspiration while you're skateboarding, or is that almost like this is when my diversion from music and I'm just going to be a kid again and go skateboarding?
I think that is probably skateboarding for me. Skateboarding is kind of a way for me to just turn my brain off.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like inspiration, I pull inspiration from all kinds of different things. You know, it could be something as simple as like a movie that I watched, you know, just things like that. But yeah, like, I mean, skateboarding too. I mean, just the overall aspect of skateboarding. There's definitely things that like I've taken inspiration from in that aspect and applied it to music, you know.
Yeah, skaters have always, you know, skaters and music have always gone hand in hand.
I think so too.
Back in the day before ska, you know, you know, there was the punk contingent and there was the metal guys, and you know, and then you know, ska came along and tried to mix, you know, the horns came along, and
I never got into that shit, but
you know,
like punk rock, yeah, dude. I mean, skateboarding and punk rock have had a very, very strong relationship for a really long time.
Yeah, and a big skater band back in my day was Anthrax.
Anthrax, yeah, you got Anthrax, the Faction, total skate rock band, Agent Orange,
Yep.
Black Flag to me always screams skateboarding.
Yeah.
I don't think that they ever really had like a super skateboard vibe to them, but skateboarders just love Black Flag. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you always saw the stickers on the
bands
board.
like that a lot in the punk category. I would say Anthrax, like you said, and like Metallica doing the Puss Head, Zorlak skateboards, stuff like that. I've got one behind me actually, but
right on.
Yeah. Now, as you can see behind me, I've got quite a nice big collection of autographed guitars. I've been a collector for a while. I got some cool guys up there.
Yeah.
My prizes probably are. I got Ronnie James Dio on the Hearing Aid album.
Wow. Dude,
but you are a collector of patches, I understand.
I am. I'm a very avid patch
and
collector.
I think I asked you to bring your patches to us so we can see some of them.
Yeah, man, I got them on standby here. Let me see what I got. So this was the first one that I started working on here. This is my vest. So we got like a 1983 Y&T with a 1980 Motorhead, a Black Sabbath, Witchfind, Ozzy, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, Heavy Pettin.
You got the heavy hitters there.
Oh yeah, dude. Judas Priest, Venom, Tokyo Blade, Merciful Fate, Tigers of Pantang, Scorpions, Raven. The back patch is Megadeth. We got
Tigers of Pantang. Whose band was that? That was
we just had him on. Who was that?
Someone on here from the
was
Tigers.
Robin? Who was it? Was that Macaulay? No, I forgot who was in Tigers.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, we've had on so many lately. We kind of sometimes forget. But
did you have a guy? Do you had a guy from Tigers?
He was with Tigers. And we can't remember who it was now. Was it David Reese?
Could be. Yeah, I don't know.
He was with Accept too, but well, it'll come to us.
Hopefully, we might make it on. Me and Jason, the other co-host, we might make it on to. We're dropping song titles. I speak in song titles, so he grabbed a couple. He's writing them down. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to give you credit if I use it. I'm like, dude, that would be awesome. You kidding me?
Awesome.
Write it down. I'll split that quarter with you.
Yeah, dude, I love Tigers of Pantang, man.
Yeah, so just thinking like 20 years, some kid's going to be walking around with a vest, and he's going to look. Here's my Midnight Vice patch. How cool that be?
About that sometimes, man. Yeah,
that would be so cool. So
that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. We've got a couple kids around here that really rep us, and we appreciate it. Younger kids too, man.
Yeah. How is the metal scene down in Florida? It's pretty popping right now, right?
Yeah, dude. You know, I think it's a great scene. It's super death metal centered, as it, you know, just with the Tampa death metal movement. So you can assume how that goes. It's pretty death metal heavy. Not really a whole lot of other traditional bands around here. We've got Antagonizer, who's up in Gainesville, and that's really pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot of traditional guys down here, but we get all kinds of different bands. But it's a super unified scene. You know, I remember like when we were first getting started, we played with a lot of like classic rock bands because we felt like that was a bill that we were, you know, a little bit more accommodated for.
Sure.
And then eventually I remember probably like 6 months into like actively playing gigs, we got put on this gig with like a bunch of death metal bands. And I was like, I was so concerned. I didn't know how it was going to go because we get different interpretations. Some people like to think that we're like a glam metal band, you know? And so I was like afraid of like these death metal guys just like spitting on us.
You know? Right.
But, you know, that wasn't the case. You know, I mean, we've made a really good name for ourselves in Florida, and we're a well-respected band in Florida, even among the death metal guys. And we still play with all those guys too, even now, you know?
Yeah. So like last week, I tripped into this 20-foot tall by 20-foot wide spider web.
Mhm.
Turns out it was just a merch table at a death metal fucking.
Yeah, man.
You know, why did dude? If your band name looks like 1,000 other people, they're not going to be able to tell you apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I never understood that. Like meant that mode, but Oh,
Yeah,
let's see your
I hear
second
you.
jacket, by the way.
Huh?
Did you had a second jacket?
Oh, I do have a second jacket. So this jacket is supposed to be like the long sleeve of my vest, essentially. So it's the same thing. It's a Megadeth back patch, Saxon on the super strip there. You got Annihilator, Exciter, Judas Priest, another Motorhead patch. Let's see, pretty much the same Venom patch with a red border. Iron Maiden, Raven,
Right
Accept,
on.
Overkill, Metallica, all the heavy hitters. So this one here, these are all original 80s patches. And then this one, I've got a couple bootlegs that I've got to replace. Like I've got this Violent Force patch. This is like a bootleg that I bought, but it looked old, so I was down with it. And then this is a Tank, Phil Townsend
Right on.
bootleg. Another band that I'm a super, super big fan of.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Coming from 1984. So Don Dokken's signature
Nice.
right there. Got the heavy metal shit going on,
There
right?
you go.
This is my favorite. I love and scratched out to a new name. And then, here you go, dude.
Nice. Animalize with Kiss. Very nice.
Dude, yeah, it's funny. Like I don't know if you use T-shirt Slayer, but it's funny because it's like you see all these jackets that are decked out with all of these 80s patches, these vintage patches that people spend so much time collecting.
Yeah.
And you'll see other people, they'll be like, this is my jacket from 1984. I haven't touched it. I just pulled it out of the attic. Half of the shit on it is all like hand drawn. Like they're like vests realistically did not look like these in the 1980s.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I drew on a bunch of my buddy's vests, man, and jackets.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that was a big thing, and it's crazy because like for some reason I have this weird stigma with it where I'm like I won't do it. I'm like it's just got to be all vintage. It's almost just like it's like a weird pissing contest. Honestly, that's what it is. It's like look at how much money I waste in patches on a year.
Right, some guy walks in with his old back and it's worth like $3,000 and he doesn't even know.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's insane, dude. It's crazy. And then you see people that try to sell their old battle vests and they're asking like crazy prices. And it's like when you really break it down, because I've been looking at old patches for a long time. So I pretty much know the price range of each vintage patch per se.
Sure.
So some of these guys just have like they're old patches, but they're not valuable patches, and it's just a bunch of them sewn to a jacket, and they're like $500. And
yeah,
I
can looking to hit that home run. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But, you know, that's how the collecting game is with anything, really. You know?
Oh, for sure. All right, so let's do reaction video now.
All right.
Yeah. Baptized by fire.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're gonna do it in show. So we're gonna roll credits and then we're gonna do the reaction, and then we'll roll out credit and then still be on and then wrap up the interview.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Except I rolled the wrong one. Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where'd the tunage come from?
Hey man, I'm old. You know what are you gonna do? What's up, boys and girls? Today on Monday Metal, it's me, V, Metalhead Fred, and our guest, Tyler Gray from Midnight Vice. What's happening?
Not a whole lot, man. How you doing?
Good, good. All right, Fred, you want to do a breakdown on the album? And
well, we've got Tyler Gray, the lead singer from the band Midnight Vice. They are based out of Florida. They just released their 7-song debut EP, same title, Midnight Vice. It's released on, well, Roar or Reigning Phoenix albums. It's influenced by Priest, Maiden, Sabotage, and you'll hear all that in there, but you got your own unique, fresh sound to it. And we are going to react with Tyler to Baptized by Fire.
Here we go.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure you take note of this mustache I had at the time.
Hey, man, that's all right. We all look back on our past, facial hair adventures. Metalhead Fred used to have a really great porn stash.
Oh, man.
There you go.
I look back at those pictures and I go, what the hell was I thinking? How did I ever get laid back then?
Oh, I was doing the Lemmy thing at this time, so I had the chops and shit.
Oh, gotcha,
It's blonde, so you can't see it too well, but it's there, I assure you.
Right.
Crimes of treason. I sentence you. Baptism by fire.
Yeah, I'm so old. I used to be able to wear those spiked wristbands to shows and not have to take them off at the door.
Oh, dude, I got kicked out of Judas Priest for a bullet belt. I had to go drop it off at my car.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy, dude?
Yeah, I used to have a bullet belt. Those are badass too.
It's a little different when you're playing the shows now, though. You get to wear them.
Right.
They make you take it all off. So I look cooler than the audience like every fucking time. It's awesome.
Absolutely, as it should.
Walking to the club after all your work. It's all come back to you. The walls closing in as your ex lost to spend. Judgment day is come. I've had enough. I'm calling your bluff. You look just to be saved. The mask that you wear, beginning to tear. Pretending just for who?
Dude, that was so King Diamond, man. The kick ass, man. Welcome, my friend.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, you get up there, your falsetto's pretty high.
Yeah, dude. I try to really reach for it. You know, it's the I'm a big fan of Skullfist. You know, so that was a band that I admired when I really wanted to start doing this. So I love Zach's vocals. So I wanted to do something similar to that. So that's why all those songs kind of sound like they're being sung by a little girl. You know, King Diamond too. You know,
yeah, and one of my favorite vocalists, apart from Diamond, of course, is in there, but dude, Grim Reaper.
Dude, yes, Steve Grimmett is
Oh,
so
yeah.
good, man.
Yeah.
I wish my voice sounded like that. He sounds way ballsier than I do, though.
Yeah.
That dude was a powerhouse.
Yeah, Lust for Freedom was my vocal
Have you
warm-up.
ever seen like the videos of them playing live? It's insane. Like
Oh,
he gets
yeah.
all of that live. It's
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Keep to yourself, it's all by the man.
Yeah, man, your smoke on stage is really working for you guys, man. And it looks like old school.
Oh, dude. So funny thing about that. So what we did, you cannot see it at all in the video, but there's a drum riser that extends all the way across the stage, but it's kind of pushed back a little bit.
Yeah.
See you not, there are like 1,000 tea candles behind all along that drum riser, and you can't even see them, dude.
Right.
I was so bummed because I bought like 400 tea candles, every single one, and then I set our fog machines up, and we got the video back, and I was like, damn, I didn't even need those tea candles. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
You can't take them back to the dollar store, son of a bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you guys did the band. I mean, I love videos where they show the band. I don't need a 22-minute thriller little story. You know, if I want to see a movie, I'll go see a movie. I want to see the band.
Right.
I want to see them up there like what you guys are doing.
We definitely figured that for a debut music video, we didn't really have any intentions of doing anything elaborate as far as like a plot or like acting or any of that. And a lot of times I find that shit to be pretty tacky anyway.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
We just figured for the first music video, it was just going to be a pretty raw, cutthroat music video of all of us just jamming, you know. That was what we shot for.
And you know, I was talking about this. We were talking to Gil Moore from Triumph, and part of the reason that they became who they became is they didn't have any money, and they were showing up with like a tractor trailer full of shit. Like
had high schools.
Yeah, to play high school. And it was, you know, and we had a band here that was called Insane War Tomatoes, right? And they had this thing called Raging Volcano. And one of the guys now is actually a professor at the University of Florida. And no, he figured out how to make fruit flies sterile. And like he's got, for 40 years, he's been a scientist because of it.
That's insane. Hold on, I'm losing light over here. I'm going to turn my lamp on.
So here, you know, here was this local band, and they had this thing called Raging Volcano, and smoke would start to fill, but it was a big butt, and then the butt would open and smoke would come out of the butthole, and then a slide came out, and all the band members entered the stage that way. Oh my god,
dude, that's some pretty elaborate engineering there. Honestly.
Yeah,
did they build it?
These kids that I went to, you know, I grew up with, my dad was a magician, so was their dad. So they were all about props and theatrics and, you know.
Yeah, we were certainly a little bit more theatrical than some of the other bands that we started playing with. I mean, we had the fog machines, like no other band was really doing fog machines, which is kind of like pretty basic. So I feel like that's a pretty basic you know, stage tool, and a lot of the bands around here weren't using them. And we had like these giant, I got them from a Halloween store. There were these giant skull piles. So it just looked like a little mountain of skulls, and you plugged the fog machine into the back of them, and the fog would come out of the eyes. And that was like super sick. And then we did the banner scrims, you know, so we were like moderately theatric, but we didn't have any crazy on stage stuff, you know, no Alice Cooper stuff going on, at least.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've shown up to hard rock bands, I'm like, are you kidding? Where's the smoke machine? Where's the fog?
Yeah, you don't even there's no banner, you don't even know who the hell it is.
There's a hilarious story about a few years ago at a playhouse here in the suburbs out by us. Donny Osmond came from Donny and Marie Osmond, and he's playing on stage, and he got the fog machine going. And as the fog started coming out, because it was an older crowd, they thought there was a fire going on. And they all started getting up, running out, screaming, fire, fire. And Donnie's up there going, no, it's part of them. He had to calm them down and get them back in there. It's like, okay, no more fog machines for Donny Osmond.
Yeah, no. Well, some artists won't even entertain a certain type of fog anymore. You know,
well, I learned that not every venue lets you have fog machines.
Yeah, because of the methylene glycol. I used to be a special effects guy, so we used to do, you know, a lot of tour stuff. And like Bonnie Raitt refuses. And, you know, some people, unless it's dry ice or low lying, which is liquid nitrogen and, you know, and or you can mix liquid nitrogen with the dry ice but it gives that low-lying effect.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people won't let you do it anymore.
Yeah, I got in trouble with a couple of venues for using the fog machines, and I had no idea. I didn't even think
Right.
that was. I like the pyrotechnics. Obviously, I can
Yeah.
understand. You know.
So there's a lesson for all you young bands out there. Check the contract. Make sure you can use smoke.
Yeah.
You'd never think, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't thought.
Kudos to the guitar player, by the way.
Oh, dude, he's awesome, man. He's amazing.
And I didn't mean to cut into your scream, so we'll roll right into that. Nice, dude.
Little Gene Simmons going on there at the end.
Yeah, dude.
Good job on the torch. That's not easy to get it perfect like that.
Dude, yeah. So when we decided to do the video, I kind of wanted to at least have something a little bit interesting going on aside from us just playing.
Yeah.
So I figured, baptized by fire, we should do something with fire, some sort of pyrotechnic or whatever, you know. And just the spit and fire thing was just the most economic choice to roll with. And I had never done it before. I didn't know how to do it. So I just kind of was like, I went on YouTube and watched a couple videos on how to do it. And I remember I was driving to the music video shoot. I made a pit stop at Walmart and I bought like a toy shovel, a t-shirt, and a jug of kerosene. Kerosene is not what you're supposed to be using for that.
No.
You're supposed to be using like lamp oil, I believe is what the performers are using, you know. And I couldn't find lamp oil, and I was just doing some quick Google searches, just trying to figure out what I could use. And I found kerosene in the camping section, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just Googled it real quick. Is kerosene safe to use? And the general consensus was you can get away with it. So that was what I did. I went ahead and I
In parentheses, hell
That's
no.
ballsy.
the general consensus was people have done it, but that doesn't mean it's good.
So you're checking out a Walmart and they're going, so you going camping? No, I'm going to be drinking this.
I'm
Did you
drinking.
Did you have a fire extinguisher hanging close by chance?
No, I had a gallon of water. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
But
you may want to check if you can throw water on kerosene.
Well, the bottle. The thing is the jug of water wasn't even supposed to be like. It wasn't for extinguishing the fire. I bought the gallon of water so I could just practice the act of spitting without anything running down my face.
Yeah.
So that was what I did with the water jug, and then I did it probably 3 or 4 times, and then I was like, get the camera rolling, like let's go, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when we got there, I was so pumped on it. I was like, I want to do this right now. Let's just get
it over with.
And Chuck, the guy that shot the video for us, he was like, we're gonna save that for last in case.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
That means he knows what he's doing, and it wasn't his first barbecue.
So I did that like 2 or 3 times before we got one because there were some where I did it and it was just it didn't have that Gene Simmons look to it, I think. So we did it a couple times, and by the time we got done, man, I was burping kerosene.
Oh,
Oh yeah, dude.
yummy.
We all went to dinner afterwards, and like I'm drinking beers and I'm burping, and like I can taste the kerosene, and I'm like, is this gonna
Nice.
go away, or do I need to call poison control or something? Like I didn't know what, but it all worked out, you know.
It had to be a little freaky for you
Excellent.
there. I mean,
It was a little bit, yeah. Like I mean, the dudes will tell you, like I wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I was like,
but you know what?
I don't think this is a good sign.
Tell
And it
everybody,
worked out. Beautiful
everybody-
effect.
tell everybody where they can grab your album and your merch.
RPMroar.com. There's a European site and there's a US site, and you can get the EP on CD and vinyl.
Right on, right on.
And check out their Facebook page.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Facebook is Midnight Vice. Instagram is Midnight Vice Official. Throw us a follow. It means the world to us, and thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this reaction video with the band, and we'll be back with you, Tyler, in just a second. So buy local music, go see local music, but most of all, as Jason would say,
Keep listening.
there you go. See you next time. Oh yeah, yeah, man.
Great video.
I remember one time I'm coming home and I just see this glow in the garage, this woo,
Oh, that's not good.
and I'm like, and I'm looking, and woo, again, and it's my brother in the garage trying to do the Gene Sim.
Is it really?
Yeah. I'm like, that's awesome.
It's funny too because Chris. So Chris is the guy that recorded White Witch for us.
Okay.
The first time that I met him, I didn't know who he was at the time, but he already knew who I was, and he had already seen our music video.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about him is he's a fire performer. So he was talking to me about the music video, and he was like, "Dude," he's like, "How did you learn how to do the whole Gene Simmons fire breathing thing?" And it's funny because if you look at him, there's something about him that you can tell he spits fire.
Right.
Like, I had like this subconscious like feeling. I'm like, I feel like you're about to like really call me on this. So he asked me how I did it, and I told him how I did it, and he's like, "Don't ever do it like that again."
Right.
He's like, "You come hang out with me, and I'll show you how to do it properly." And
Right.
And it's cool because like him and I actually did get to breathe fire together.
Yeah.
And he taught me the right way to do it and the right tools to use, and it was fun. And I wish I could do it live, you know, but there's no venue really that's going to allow that.
Yeah, you know, until they're of such size that, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. I guess that's the whole goal here is to get to a point where I can
absolutely just change the onus, you know.
Yeah.
spit
So
fire
speaking of live, you guys got any tours lined up? Any going to see you on the road?
Not anytime soon. 2025 is pretty much the year for woodshedding. So we're writing, we're recording. We've got some local stuff here in Florida. We're doing a run with Void at the end of May. Other than that, we're playing with LA Guns in May. A couple dates with Interceptor, I think, in the summer. Other than that, we're kind of just rolling with the punches. We're staying local and just making sure we get this freaking record out.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on and introducing the world of Midnight Vice. And
yeah, dude. Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. I had a blast yapping with you guys too.
Yeah, the album is great, and we've said it a million times: buy vinyl, buy CD, streaming great, but to keep these guys alive, buy the vinyl, buy the merch, buy the albums, go see them live.
Anytime you want to come on, just give us a call. Anytime you got something to promote, we got your back.
Absolutely, man. When this record comes around, you know I'm going to hit you guys up.
Right on.
Gladly have you back. It was a pleasure meeting you, Tyler, and best of luck to the band moving forward. And when you see Samuel on your skate tomorrow or the next day, tell him how we were digging his guitar playing.
Absolutely.
I'll let him know. Yeah, he'll get a kick out of that.
And as
Actually, fun fact.
Yeah.
Sam's actually really short. So we had him standing on a stool while we were shooting that video. He was standing on a stool. He's tiny.
That's
Little guy.
nice, nice. Hey, man, if your friends ain't giving you shit, they're not your friends. That's what
That's
I
right.
Right. That's right.
But yeah, as always, make your Monday metal.